For the head coach Butler, first off, Coach, I want to clarify a couple of things that Oklahoma just asked you. Most of the state does know about your team because those who follow fall baseball know you've played all over the state.
Sure.
How proud of you? How proud of this team are you to be able to say that you've played number 1, number 2, number 3 teams in Class B and A? You're 24-5.
That's the goal. Like I told him, we want to play a tough schedule and be battle tested. Our kids are not, with this group, are not content with just getting here. So we want to see everybody that we can and play in those tough games so we can learn and get better. And that's what we do. We play some tough guys and we learn that 2 out walks hurt. And we just learn the game of baseball. So when we get out here and we get to this day, we're prepared mentally, and hopefully we catch a few breaks along the way, and that was the difference tonight.
Going back to this season, you were one of the few teams that technically had a tie. You guys tied with Tuscan, kind of one of those get it done, kind of hurry up movement kind of games. Fort Cobb-Broxton had one as well, so did Drummond. When you think back on this season, with the exception of 2 losses to Red Oak, and then I know you want to basically get revenge on that 10-2 loss to Silo, what were the games that you saw as turning points and then maybe momentum shifts for you guys to be able to pick up steam and claim the regional championship?
Well, it was the regional runner-up. Bing was the regional champion. But just every day, that's kind of what we try to preach is come to the baseball field every day to try to get better, no matter who we're playing. But that schedule forces you to plan, to pay attention to what's going on pitch count wise, and just every inning. So it's so similar to being up here in the state tournament when you play those type of teams, and it's paid off. I think we've grown as a club, and we just get excited to be up here instead of being starstruck. So that schedule pays off.
Briefly rewinding, I know most coaches never live in the past, but obviously for the spring championship game, you guys had a very, very tough loss for Roth, who in effect turned to Major League Baseball fielder's choice 1-2-3 bases loaded 2-1 lead into a 2-1 win.
Yeah.
When you lost the way you lost, knowing that you played well enough to win, knowing that it was a tough way to basically walk off the field, you and I had a conversation on what you guys were going to focus on, which was they make my job easy. Having this much talent is, a blessing.
Sure.
What did you do to say, all right, take a couple of months off, and now let's go for state again in the fall?
Well, to touch on that state tournament game, Ross deserved it. Even on that bang-bang play, fielder's choice at home plate, hey, we've got a guy at second base with 1 out, and we've got our our leadoff up. So, we still had chances in that game, so hats off to those guys, deserving in that game. What we took from that game is learning how to small ball, and our kids jumped in the weight room as soon as we got back. They tried to get stronger, and we've got, I checked the other day, over 60 sacrifice bunts this season. So that's been something that we bought into. It's really paid off for us, and learning how to bunt has also taught us how to field the bunt, and that's what the difference in the Roth game was. Those guys bunted, and we had an opportunity right there in that semifinal game with our number 1. That's all you can ask for. And, they catch a few breaks there, and that's the difference in a state tournament game like that. So hats off to those guys, and we just we got hungry. These kids, they were hungry to get back. It was disappointing, of course, but let's get back to it and try to improve.
Baseball purists know exactly what you mean by small ball, situational hitting, taking advantage of base running, spots to advance runners. I like to call what you guys do, though, here in Oklahoma, fall ball as well, because you play literally a gauntlet schedule to where you see everybody that you know is going to be there at the end. You play top heavy. You don't care if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 losses as long as you grow from them.
Sure.
So when you look at the season in perspective, tomorrow, Silo and Fort Cobb-Broxton, you've seen them both. And then you guys now are in an opportunity with Oktaha to where they were runner-up, you were a runner-up. How excited are you guys to be able to see them again and to also be that much closer to a state championship?
We are extremely grateful for the opportunity to be playing tomorrow. That club that we just beat has been playing really good baseball, and they've got, Jeff Cook does a great job over there, and we're extremely grateful for the opportunity tomorrow. Coach Rodden is a friend of mine, and his club is really good. They've been there, done that, they've won it recently, and so we know that we've got to show up and play our best game and hopefully catch a few breaks and just see what happens. But hey, all you can ask for is to be playing tomorrow, and we're proud of that.
One final question. I know you want to go. I wanted to give a shout out to your pitcher. You mentioned earlier that this was his first ever start. not just in, I guess, this type of a game, but for state.
State tournament.
Exactly.
He's had about, I think, 4 or 5 starts this fall. And I told him about midway through, hey, we're going to starting you because I know we're going to need you to go out there and win a game for me in the state tournament. And he said, it's about time. So.
And his name?
Connor Bastrash. And, he told me there in the 6th inning, I had some guys getting loose and I'm not coming out. And I said, okay. And he's that type of kid. And that's all you can ask for. A senior guy, a little bulldog out there. Let's go up there and give your defense a chance because he throws strikes. And so just a good team effort, good team win. Very proud of that.
And to a certain extent, there was a 4-3 kind of routine turn that might have resulted in 1 sac fly run unearned, but it led to 2 because of a little bobble there. But would you have been shocked, stunned, or otherwise surprised if you'd have known that he would have been your pitcher 7 innings or 6 innings, and you'd have forced Dale to do 3? I mean, that had to be pretty surprising.
Yeah, I was surprised, but I did look at Dale's pitch counts and what they've done this fall, and they have thrown numerous guys in a bunch of games. So I thought that that's a possibility to see multiple arms. But again, just proud of my guy and his effort today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.